My name is Anna. I'm 29 years old, born and raised in Invercargill, New Zealand, and I've been in Singapore for 4.5 years. I actually moved to Singapore completely on a whim. In late 2011, I think if you'd asked me 6 weeks before I moved to Singapore if I'd ever considered moving to Singapore, I would have said no way. I got offered a job out here and 3 weeks later I was on a plane. I'd never been here before, I didn't know anyone. I think that there is that sense that, there's that rite of passage of going to London as the OE, but at the time I was thinking of leaving New Zealand and doing my own OE. I had a lot of friends who were going out to London and coming back because they couldn't find work, and in 2011 Europe was still very much in recession or recovering from recession. There just weren't the jobs there. New Zealand is such a wonderful country, but the salaries are relatively low compared to the cost of living, and here, though the cost of living is a lot higher in some respects, not all respects but some, you are earning more and you're paying less tax as well, so it does give you a bit more of that financial flexibility. Where we are right now is called McRitchie Reservoir, and it's a beautiful oasis right in the middle of Singapore, and I think that it kind of dispels the myth, I guess, that Singapore is just filled with glittering skyscrapers and is really crowded. Although Singapore is technically one of the most densely populated places on the planet, you come to a place like this and it's really serene and beautiful, and it's just a really nice place to, I think, get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. These are the dragon boat medals I've won since I moved to Singapore. I joined a dragon boat team essentially to meet new friends and absolutely fell in love with it. It's an amazing sport and something I never ever would have done had I not moved to Singapore. It's the world's fastest growing water sport. We have 17 nationalities in our team, so it's a fantastic way to meet people. The Asian business culture, I think, is a lot more hierarchical than perhaps the New Zealand is more egalitarian, more of a flat kind of business structure, whereas in Asia you do have to be a little bit more aware of how perhaps a more Chinese approach to business in terms of rank, in terms of bosses making decisions and stuff, and knowing how to navigate that and to be a professional within that is something that I definitely had to learn when I came out here. If you want to go in and be taken seriously, you need to understand the cultural side of what you're pitching to, of what the business challenge is, and even how the order in which your presentation goes. I think that most people who have moved overseas from New Zealand will tell you the same, that they perhaps do feel more connected to their identity as a Kiwi overseas. New Zealand in general, I think, has such a good reputation that it's really easy to be proud to be a New Zealander. I think Singapore is a place where you can have lots of amazing highs, but also lots of amazing lows that you don't realise are going to happen until they happen to you. And one for me was 2.5 weeks ago I had to have surgery on my wrist. I'm lucky enough to have great health insurance. So for the money that I pay for my surgeries, I do eventually get that money back. The challenge is that when I went into hospital, I had to pay the entire bill, which amounted to a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars. Before I left the hospital. And so for me, I've been really missing New Zealand's public healthcare system recently. These are things that you can't always plan for in life, and one of the things that I've learned from moving to Singapore is that there often is no safety net for you here, and you need to be your own safety net. It depends on how you define success for yourself, I guess. For me, I wanted to come to Singapore for professional reasons, to kind of clear off my student loan. But if your goals were to own a home of your own or to raise a family, I think New Zealand is a really good place to do that. You learn so much about yourself living abroad, and particularly in Asia. Maybe not a lot of people are coming here, but I think in the future Asia might actually be a really good destination for a lot of people who are looking to get ahead.